I think we're at the 11, the County Council discussion possible action relative to recent state legislation regarding medical marijuana.
Yeah, and this is just going to be an update from Greg Gelato, our County Council, on some recent legislation passed. I'm sure we're going to be dealing with recent legislation being passed for the next couple of years, especially if the initiative petitions prevail coming up in our next elections. But this one deals with new laws as far as administration, enforcement, licensing, medical marijuana regulation, cultivation sites, licensed distribution, dispensaries, and transporters, unique identifier and track and trace programs, licensed transporters, which is going to be a big issue because those people that transport the marijuana from one county to the other, they may be transporting into a county that may have prohibitions. And that's what, at a recent meeting I attended, I brought back some information on that, and I think it was on this legislation that I talked about that said you better, RCRC put it forward, that said you need to have new laws in place within your county to guide some of these things like movement of marijuana from one county to the next. So it covers that delivery of marijuana, home-type delivery of marijuana, licensed manufacturers, taxation, funding, and reporting. So a lot to
This is about the only product that winds up having all these special rules made for it. And, you know, it seems like commerce is pretty free between everything, all the counties and everything. Is this like the like the standout, the marijuana issue? And
right now, alcohol has special rules.
Oh, okay.
Drugs have special rules. So this is going to be nothing different. If marijuana is going to be legalized in our state, at least from our state legislature right now, is passing rules to make it easier for people. Even if marijuana is considered illegal in the federal arena, we have to deal with that. So this legislation actually came out of the RCRC conference that they reported it to us and said, look, you need to look at these areas. So Greg Gelato was assigned the duty of looking at, does our county need to modify our existing rules and regulations? Are we out of compliance as far as what the state says is legal? So I think what happened here is Greg has reviewed it, and he's got a full plate. He puts in a lot of time with his staff. He's got 3 other staff members, that staff level attorneys that do a lot of work.
So you think a lot of people will be at this to weigh in on this?
No, I think you'll have the same handful of people that usually come in and advocate for full legalization.
Okay, well then you're going to be reviewing the minutes and probably approve that.
Right.
And so what did we want to talk about Newman Ridge to bring people up to date on what's happening there?
This was a ruling that came out from our Amador County Superior Court, and the judgment was made by Judge Leslie Nichols, who was a visiting judge. And what his decision says here is that the inclusion of the reclamation plan in the referendum petition, and that's what we had warned. Our county council had warned the LADA attorney about that. If you include that in there, he did not think it was legal to do that. So by including that, the judge said it renders the petition void and ineligible for the ballot.
Okay, now when we talk about that petition, can you explain what petition we're talking about?
What they wanted to do was overturn the county's approval of the Newman Ridge project. There are a couple different items here. One is the general plan amendment and zone change required for the production facility for the asphalt plant.
Okay.
Second is the actual Newman Ridge quarry itself and the reclamation plan. Those were seen as administrative approvals that the county really doesn't have any discretion over. That approval is granted because they're administrative approvals. The general plan amendment and zone change are legislative. Those can be overturned by referendum. So Greg Gelato, our county council, warned the attorney for LADA that this was probably not going to succeed from the beginning because you cannot include a reclamation plan. It had never been challenged in court because it is a ministerial or administrative act that is not subject to challenge. But so they chose to challenge it anyway. And it's interesting in here, the judge says it would serve little purpose to repeat the argument advanced by their counsel. But he does say the court is confident that should this, and I'm going to just say it in my own words rather than his legal terms.
All right.
But he is confident that should it be appealed, that his review would be upheld. So he's very confident that if this is appealed, it's not going to go anyplace. And now the Lotta Group is on Facebook asking people for $50,000 to help finance an appeal. They'll stop at no ends, and that includes wasting money and time and effort, costing the taxpayers a lot of money here. They were warned right from the beginning, and the Board of Supervisors made the decision to, rather than say we're not going to place this on the ballot, we said we're going to send this to a judge and ask him, is it appropriate for it to be placed on a ballot? Because we don't want the voters deceived. So what the judge here said, it is not appropriate to place it on a ballot because in their statement where they collected signatures, they put a reclamation plan there knowing that it was not subject to referendum. They deceived the voters, plain and simple. If you want to be a voter in Amador County and be deceived, then support the Lotta Group. But this is just ridiculous that you have people going out and collecting signatures with paid signature gatherers, for the most part, that were saying anything necessary to get people to sign it. Most people signed it without any opposition because they don't like somebody in their face saying, sign this petition, here's the reason you should sign it. It's very easy to go out and collect signatures. Almost anybody will sign it. But you know what? You got to tell people the truth, and that's what this ruling is clear about. That when you put information that is incorrect and deceives the voters on a petition, it's not going to be upheld by the court.
And particularly, what did you feel that was deceiving? What was the language, or what did they say, Richard?
That they put that the referendum, that the reclamation plan was subject to referendum.
Okay.
And after being warned by our county council from day one that it is not subject, that he did not feel it was subject to referendum, and they did not listen to that. They put it on anyway, and what they were trying to do is grab, as the court said, they put basically all of their eggs in one basket, hoping that someone would look at it and say, oh, you're right, the people have a right to decide. But the people have to be presented with correct information to decide. So they put the Newman Ridge Quarry on there, they put the reclamation plan, they put the general plan amendment for the production site, they put the zone change all together, and that's what the judge said by putting all of their eggs in one basket. And he also said, electing to suffer the possibility that legislative acts would not be subject to the referendum process.
Okay, and that's because these were two different processes that went on that the board had to do. Is that one was administrative and the other was
right? And the judge said that clearly, that if the reclamation plan was just determined not subject to referendum, the entire referendum would not make the ballot.
Okay.
So we asked the judge and the court, you make the decision. Should this be placed on the ballot? Is it legal? The court said it's not correct to place it on the ballot because the information the voters were given when they signed the petition was incorrect.
Okay. Well, we just have looks like we have about a minute and a half. Oh, what happened at the Jefferson meeting that was the last meeting? I wasn't able to go there. I was out of town going to celebrate Thanksgiving.
The board voted 3-2 to not declare ourselves part of the state of Jefferson.
Okay.
And I think the reasoning for that was that some of us are not real comfortable with the financial implications. We think there should be more study done on it. So we have asked our county council and our county administrative officer to put together working with the state of Jefferson people, put together the financial information, but we want some independent information.
Okay.
Like having our county auditor controller involved. We want that good financial information, but the board voted 5-0 to place it on a future ballot for the people to vote on it.
So you're still looking at information. Are you going to make that information available from a board meeting and that, so that the community has more information? I found that it just almost fall out of the sky, even though it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it has been, but we right now are looking for language, ballot language to come back to make sure that we're happy with that. But we need that financial information, financial study done to see if it's even feasible. Would it work to have Amador be part of the state of Jefferson? There's some people say it's a no-brainer. Yes, of course it'll work. You know what? I'd rather know ahead of time and have some surety that Amador County is not going to be stepping in quicksand by doing something like this.
Well, I think you're doing a good job on that to try to get all the information possible. Because, I think what I'm trying to say is that there's not a really lot of hard, solid information there yet to make a really good judgment.
Well, 2 of our supervisors thought we had enough information.
Maybe for them there is. All I meant is I wouldn't mind more information myself.
I'm just trying to do our due diligence, and I think that's the correct way to go about it.
Okay. Well, Richard, thanks for coming by, and thanks for watching TSPN. We'll see you again next time.